This message this morning is for the strong ones, the ones that have had to be strong in order to make it through every moment and situation in your life. This message today is for the strong ones on your jobs, the one that stands in the gap and intercedes for everyone else. This one is for the strong ones in your family, the ones that stands in the gap to pray for everyone in your family, the one that is sent to break the generational curses where that weight and that pressure may become difficult. This message is for the strong one in the friend group that picks up and carries the burdens of everyone else and always ensures that everyone is okay. This morning, I'm starting my message just a little different than what I normally would because I want to reach a different audience today. And that audience is to the one that has had to carry the weight of those that are around you. And sometimes it may feel and seem, and it may be that you are overlooked and or that you're carrying a weight that maybe others don't carry for you. I want to share with you this morning that it is okay for you to break. Now, I know that sounds very hard to someone who is used to carrying the weight of everyone that's around you. I know that is very hard for the one that is used to carrying the weight of the marriage, where you are used to praying for your spouse and for your children. You are used to praying for those that are around you in your community. You are used to carrying their weight and hearing their concerns, their issues, and praying them through and walking them through. I know to that person specifically that it is very hard to hear the words, "It is okay to break." Because in your mind, when you hear the term or the phrase, "it's okay to break," that shows a form of weakness. And it is in the fear of weakness that you put on external, um, this external face of always being strong in all situations. And the truth is, while you are always in the place of being strong, that there are some parts inside of you that are feeling broken. And a lot of times we can dismiss the sides of us that feel broken because we have associated brokenness with it not being right, or we are associating or have associated brokenness with not being healed. We associate brokenness with not being together or not being good. But I'm hoping today to expound upon an idea and a concept that will help you, those, my strong friends, those that carry that weight, those that carry that mantle. I'm hoping today to share a message with you, and I won't be long, that will give you an understanding of why it is okay for you to break, why it is okay for you to sit with those moments and that space of feeling broken and not run away from it. And I'm hoping to also show you how you can do yourself and those that are around you a greater disservice if you do not sit with that brokenness, if you do not embrace that space of being broken. For some of us, it is even uncomfortable, the thought of sitting in a space of brokenness, because we have, and I'll speak for myself and for my particular culture. We feel as though we have to be so strong that strength has to exude and permeate from every single fiber of our being. And so we will be strong even when we are afraid. We will be strong even when we are hurting. And a lot of times, what this will do for us and how it works against us, it always places us in the position of saying or putting off the facade that we don't need help, And that's okay in logic. But when you think about the reality of what showing or acting or putting on the front that you need no help, what that actually does for us, to us, and also to those that are around us. I was I was watching someone the other day in the store. They had, I guess, their significant other with them. I really don't know the relationship. I was just observing from a distance, and I guess they had gotten to a slight argument, and um, the person, the gentleman said, "Well, carry it yourself then." You know, and she grabs the bags and she pulls the bags and she's walking, feverishly with all of the bags in her hand. And you could tell that her hands, you know how when you get those 15 bags wrapped around one hand, how your hand begins to, come together, you lose feelings. And her pride and her ego just wouldn't let her say, okay, I need help. Can you just carry a couple of the bags for us? And I sat back and I chuckled for a moment. While that was funny, I think that so many times it happens in real life. I think that the strong one carries things that you shouldn't have to. And I think that that is one of the plots and the ploys of your adversary, is to allow that ego to rise up so much inside of the one that is sent to be the curse breaker, so that you will tire yourself out, so that you will not have the strength. I want to give you these reassuring scriptures that will help to kind of solidify the idea that it is okay for you to be broken and to sit in that brokenness. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse number 9 says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in your weakness. Therefore, I boast all more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." This scripture really paints out a clear picture that brokenness is necessary, and that where there is a space where we are weak, where there is a space where we do not have the capacity, that in order for Christ to rest upon us, we must be able to acknowledge that. Paul says this very clearly: I boast in my weakness so that Christ may rest upon me. Sometimes we do not even speak of our weakness. We will not be opened enough, even in our prayer life, to admit, I am weak here. And when we cannot admit that this is an area that I cannot handle, then what you're saying is that I can continue to play God. One of the challenges of one that is a person that has been called to stand in the gap for others is that sometimes, because you are standing in that gap, you forget that it is not you that is standing, but it is God through you that is standing, that it is his power that is standing through you, and that when your power runs out, this is when his power increases. And many times the reason why we are breaking even the more is because we are doing parts of the job that God is saying, I need you to allow me to take over at this place. Here's another scripture in Matthew chapter number 26, verse number 26 through 29. It says, while they were eating, Jesus took the bread and he gave thanks and he broke it, therefore demonstrating this idea that in order for the bread to get from one person to another, that it had to indeed be broken. And if we can't be broken, then we can't be disseminated to feed or to nourish those that are around us. Here's another scripture, Matthew chapter 14, verse number 17 and 21. It says Jesus and his disciples had only 5 loaves and of bread and 2 fish, and the loud crowd was gathering to see Jesus and to heal the sick. There were people around. There was an assignment that they needed to heal and to care for the people. Jesus told the people to sit on the grass. He prayed and blessed and then broke the bread and then gave thanks. Unless that bread was broken, it could not feed those that were around. I know that you want to be strong because the scripture says be strong. And there is a season for us to be strong. But there also is a season for us to sit in our brokenness and allow our brokenness for Christ, for God to actually to illuminate inside of us that it is through that brokenness that those that are around us can actually see the humanity inside of us, but yet see the divinity and the supernatural existence of God. That many people, as long as they just see your strength, they don't see God operating through you, and therefore God can never be glorified. Could it be that we are holding back God from being glorified because we are too busy trying to play God and be strong? Could it be that maybe that you sit in the place of admitting and being vulnerable to say to God that, God, it is in this place and in this hour in my life that I need you to now take over because I am broken. And yes, you have had to be strong all up to this point in your life. Yes, you have had to be the one to pray up to this point in the relationship. Yes, you are the one that has had to stand on the job this long, and you've had to pray for everyone else and deal with things and tolerate things that others maybe did not. And yes, maybe you're saying, God, can I get a break? And God is saying, yes, you can get a break. But in order for you to get a break, it's going to require for you to say, I am broken. Now, God, I need you to take over. I need you to step in this place. Could it be that maybe the reason why God has not moved in the situation is because you won't put it in his hands because you're too busy trying to hold it in your hand, saying that you are so strong that you can make this happen, as opposed to saying, God, I don't have any more strength. This is the place where I need you to take over. My challenge for you today is to understand that it is okay for you to have moments that you must isolate, that you must step away, that you must be honest, that you break down, that you cry, that you allow your body to refuel, that you allow your body to be recuperated, that even flowers that are the most beautiful have seasons where they look as though they are dead and then they come back even more beautiful, that even trees that are on the earth, that they have seasons that their leaves fall away and then they come back even more beautiful than ever. That if everything on this earth has a cycle, a rhythm, and a season, that it goes up and it comes down, including water, then it is perfectly okay for you to have those seasons where you do feel that you are broken, that it is okay. And knowing that when you are in that season that you may feel that you are broken, that it is okay because God is taking over, and you will have a season where you will rise back stronger and you will be able to benefit those that are in your life and break those curses from a greater strength and a greater capacity. I want to remind you of this as I close. A few years ago, I had a broken arm. I had a fracture in my arm. And I remember very distinctively that the doctor said to me, you will not break twice in the same space because our body has a tendency and a habit to heal even stronger when it comes to our bones in a place where we have been broken. But in order to have an extremely strong break, I had to have the break. And friends, maybe that's all that you have needed in order to give you the peace that you need so that you can completely do the job that you were purposed to do. Maybe there just needs to be a moment where you break and you put it in God's hands and you let him take over and do the rest. And I promise you that God will give you the victory if in that broken space you give him the glory. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm hoping that today has really encouraged you and it has spoken to you on a deeper level than maybe you have been spoken to in a long time, that maybe you feel peace in the place of saying, God, I can be honest and vulnerable with you. I am weak. I am tired. I am broken and I need your help. That maybe you can take off the Superman cape for just a moment and you can say, I am now Clark Kent. I need to be refilled. I need to be refueled. And then you can allow God to do what he promised that he would do, that he would meet you at the place of your weakness. Thank you so much for watching. I want you to have a happy Sunday. And thank you for those that every single week you are always getting on, and you have built this community to such a great space and such a great place, and you are helping people all over this nation. I am so grateful for every single one of you in this amazing community. I am hoping that even on today that we can begin to become closer, that you can connect with one another in the comments, and that you can form relationships, friendships, and conversations that will challenge each other to grow to the next level. Thank you for each one of my partners, that every single week you are sowing and you are planting. And I am praying today that whatever you are standing in need of, that every single seed that you sow, that God would return it back to you. Not just 10, but 100-fold return within just a few hours of you sowing, that God would bless your house abundantly. So thank you to the partners. And if you would like to consider to be a partner, there is a link that is at the bottom. It is a link tree that will allow you to give, to sow, and also connect in various different ways. So thank you so much for that in advance. If you need prayer, just simply say in the comments, I need prayer. Every single Thursday at 6 o'clock a.m., our prayer team prays, and we will be happy to pray for you and for your loved ones. Thank you for joining us. Have a very happy Sunday. It's okay.